All right, Rodney, let's just jump right back into our Fumble Awards before we get to our Impact Player of the Year. We're going to start with the biggest storyline of 2024. Who you got?
Caitlyn Clark. This is the Caitlyn Clark Award show. There's not a more polarizing athlete in all of sports, than Caitlyn Clark right now. I think anybody who would refute that is just not tapped in or not aware of just the sheer magnetism of what she brings. And she has revolutionized not the sport, but the interest and intrigue in the sport. And when you have an athlete very much like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson combined back in 1979 that can come into a league and take the energy that they had going from Indiana State and where did Magic go? And Michigan State, right? Coming out of that NCAA championship game. Boom. Now we in the pros. People follow that storyline. That is who Caitlyn Clark is. That is what Caitlyn Clark has been to this league. And it's spilled even outside of women's basketball. It is just a basketball story. And yeah, there's nobody like her in all of American sports right now. I don't know what you want me to say.
Any honorable mentions?
I'll give an honorable mention to the Joker, to Nikola Jokic. I think that the level of basketball that he's playing right now, while I don't always appreciate it and value it the way that I should. I don't acknowledge it as much as I should. So I want to take a moment just to acknowledge how special he has been. He is doing historical things. He is a generational all-time talent. And so, my honorable mention would be him and Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff,
okay.
who I got really invested into tennis this year. And just to see the way people regard Coco, how poised she is. She's a beacon of light and hope for so many young Black women in this country. Coco Gauff would also be another honorable mention.
Okay. I went completely left, Rodney, and I said Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Because, Rodney, think about the way that was thrown at us. I don't like it. I didn't like it. I don't like watching Chiefs games because I don't want to see her 20 times a game. And I didn't like when the NFL came out with their promo for the 2024 season and she was shown 5 times and they showed Lamar Jackson once. That's why I'm saying it's a storyline that they fed to us every single day. And that's why I'm going to go with Taylor Swift.
You know what? That's not a bad call because, okay, you know what? Kylie Kelce, right? Jason Kelce's wife, has a podcast and it overtook Joe Rogan as the biggest podcast in the world. Who the hell is Kylie Kelce? Am I tripping? Like, yo, I get...
And it just came out, too.
I didn't... Like, Jason Kelce, he had a great career for the Eagles. Ain't nobody pay attention to Jason Kelce like that. Did nobody care about Jason Kelce to this extreme? Am I tripping? Was he Gronkowski the whole time and I was unaware? You let me know.
No, I think that he was a pretty big person on the team. I will say that on the offensive line.
But on a national level, nobody cared about Jason Kelce, right? Like I don't remember seeing Jason Kelce.
Travis had more popularity than Jason, yes.
So by virtue of being Travis's brother who's dating Taylor Swift, Jason's wife now gets to have the most popular podcast in the world. Taylor Swift casts a very wide net. She is...
Yes.
I don't know how she didn't help the presidential election if she's getting podcasters lit like this. This is crazy.
And then we talked about it too. We talked about it early in the year, the impact that she had on Travis and Jason and their podcast and their sponsorships. I mean, you cannot watch any sporting event and you will see them at least 3 or 4 times per commercial break. Why are y'all doing everything?
This is a good...
Y'all are in everything.
Yeah, this was a good call by you. That was a good one. You're right.
All right, next up is Impact Player of the Year. Rodney, why is it Caitlyn?
Because she...
At this point.
Because she's amazing. And she, again, brought a flair to the game that made everyone want to watch. Like, at a point, there was a storyline attached to Caitlyn Clark, right? But if she would have got to the WNBA and been mid or been like subpar or even just average, none of this would matter. But she came into the league and she dominated. She was a first-team All-WNBA player, which means, by all accounts, she was the best point guard in the WNBA in her rookie season, and many people feel like she wasn't even at her best. So Caitlyn, of course, wins this award. I want to acknowledge a couple of more people. I want to acknowledge Juju, and then I'll go... Man, there's a lot of white basketball players now. Cooper Flag is hella white hoopers.
He's been impactful.
Yeah, and so
he's been impactful.
And so has Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
For Rutgers basketball. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I definitely, no question, Caitlyn Clark, especially after being named Time Female Athlete of the Year, and the way
Athlete of the Year, not female. Athlete of the Year.
Athlete of the Year. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. And the way that she stepped up and said, you know what? I'm a part of a league. I'm serious, because she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to do any of that. She didn't have to go against her fan base. She could have been very comfortable in saying nothing, because we see it every day. But the fact that she did that, I'm like, you know what? Like, you're really making an impact. You're really at least trying to get people to understand the WNBA and how it's structured, and the people who made it to what it is. And so for that, kudos, Caitlyn Clark. I'm going to give you all the honors, because you didn't have to do that. She really could have just said nothing, Rodney. You know that.
I love Black women, yo. I think y'all are so incredible.
Why?
The Black women had this desire to be acknowledged by Caitlyn Clark, and to be, to a degree, to have a statement issued of protection from Caitlyn Clark, right? And I'm seeing it online. Until she made this most recent statement in the Time Magazine article, there were a large population of Black women who were not rocking with Caitlyn Clark. But as soon as she acknowledges them, now all of a sudden they can acknowledge her greatness on the court. I just find it...
No, Rodney. You No, that is absolutely wrong.
Okay.
I think that more people were upset at her fan base and what they represent.
But they blamed Caitlyn for not making a statement to protect them from the vitriol that her fan base was spewing. And they put it on Caitlyn's shoulders and back. And now that she made a simple statement, again, it's just words. It don't really solve anything, right? But because she made this statement, now she's acceptable. I think it's fascinating. I can't speak
for everybody else. I don't know who you were following, but I'm saying for me, I've never doubted her talent on the court. I've never doubted that. I think that I was more so upset at her fan base, not at her. Because like I said, she didn't have to say anything. And I would have been like, whatever. She didn't have to say a word.
There were times in which you downplayed her ability a little bit. I'll say that.
The only time I said that she shouldn't have been somewhere was on the Olympic roster. And we all know, everybody can say that she shouldn't have been on that Olympic roster. That's the only time.
There were times when I mentioned that she was the best point guard in the league and you scoffed.
That's extreme.
Well, we are, you know what? Even when we are agreeing, somehow Caitlyn has created a conversation of tension between you and I, even though we both give her this award, which goes to show just how impactful she has been.
Yes, you all let us know. What do you make of our last two Fumble Awards, Impact Player of the Year, and the biggest storyline? You drop that down in the comments below, and then stay tuned because we do have our Fumble of the Year coming up later in the show.